All right, let's take you to the big questions that we're asking this evening. Revant Reddy's Rafale question, echoing what Rahul Gandhi had said earlier. Is it anti-India as the BJP proclaims, or is it a national interest? The other question that we asked, should the government come out and clear the air? Because it's been a number of times that the opposition has constantly posed this question. Why so much skepticism, though, about operations and government intent? And ultimately, who is winning the Operation Sindoor narrative? Let's take these questions to our panelists, who each of them will get 2 minutes to put their party perspective and their own analysis forward. Joining me this evening, Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson, Bharatiya Janata Party; Adil Singh Boparoy, National Spokesperson, Congress; Ashutosh, Political Analyst; Rajat Sethi, Political Commentator. I want to begin with the Congress spokesperson, Adil Singh Boparoy. Adil Singh Boparoy, the fact is that the Telangana Chief Minister, seemingly echoing the sentiments of Rahul Gandhi. Rahul Gandhi had made the point on Rafales if Indian jets were downed in Operation Sindoor earlier. But this time around, it does seem that the Telangana CM hasn't really had that kind of support. Not many leaders coming out to support him from the Congress. Is it once again the personal view of the Telangana CM, or is it what the party believes?
Well, Preeti, I fail to understand, why is it a sin, or why is one labelled as opposing the country if one seeks accountability? There has been a diplomatic failure, a monumental diplomatic failure. If there has been a monumental security and intelligence lapses, and if we as the principal opposition party seek answers from the government in the aftermath of the incident, and almost 2 to 3 weeks in the aftermath of our retaliation, why is it so wrong? Aren't we a democratic republic? Now, coming on the foreign policy collapse, just yesterday, the Pakistanis have entered into an MOU, a deal with the Russians, a $2.6 billion deal with the Russians. And Russia all along has been our strident ally. Today, we are isolated. Even countries like Bhutan, Nepal, Sri Lanka haven't come and made a categorical statement that Pakistan is a state sponsor of terrorism. So if there has been a monumental failure, and if the BJP wants to perpetuate this failure and evade accountability by labeling us as anti-nationals, then so be it. We are speaking for the country. We are speaking for the victims. The victims, the bereaved families today are seeking closure. It's been over 4 weeks, close to 5 weeks. The perpetrators, the assailants, the terrorists who pulled the trigger are still at large. Now, will you call me an anti-national? Will the BJP call me an anti-national if I speak for the victims? If I seek that those terrorists, those barbaric individuals should be brought to justice? Am I wrong? Am I wrong as a citizen? And if the BJP feels that this is anti-national, then so be it. I wear that as a badge of honor. But I'm a true Indian, and my allegiance lies to the Constitution and to the Republic.
All right, so your time is up. I want to bring in, your time is up. I want to bring in the BJP spokesperson. Sanju Verma, the larger question in all of this is, these questions were not raised at the time of Operation Sindoor. At that point of time, the opposition stood with you. What's so wrong of the opposition raising these questions again? Many would suggest this is not anti-national, this is rather in national interest.
Preeti, I heard the rant of the Congress spokesperson. Now let me have my say. And I'm not going to mince any words. You know, monumental failure, foreign policy collapse. These are the adjectives used by the Congress spokesperson. Accountability. We are accountable to the people of India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the only Prime Minister in 62 years to come back as Prime Minister for the 3rd time consecutively. And the Congress has been shown the exit door in 3 Lok Sabha elections consecutively in a row. So for the Congress to sit here and talk about accountability and how the entire country is with them, let me just say that the Congress is living in La La Land. And if the Congress spokesperson wants to be delusional, good luck to him. Now let me say a couple of things here. What was a monumental failure, Preeti? Monumental failure was when POK happened right under the long and incompetent nose of Pandit Nehru. Monumental failure was when 38,000 square kilometers of Aksai Chin were handed on a golden platter by Nehru to the Chinese, saying, oh, this was just a barren land, not a blade of grass grows there. Monumental failure happened when, despite the 1971 war, Indira Gandhi refused to get 54 Indian POWs who were left to languish and rot in Pakistani jails. Monumental failure happened when in 1974, Indira Gandhi gave away the Kachativu Islands to Sri Lanka on a golden platter. Monumental failure happened when, despite the Indian Air Force willing to take vengeance, Manmohan Singh, aka the proxy government of Sonia Gandhi, refused to avenge the 26/11/2008 Mumbai terror attack. Monumental failure happens when Rahul Gandhi barely had the 26/11 attack subsided. He was caught partying at Chhatarpur Farms, attending the wedding festivities of Satish Sharma's son.
All right,
So,
ma'am, your time has run out. Your time has run out. I need to go across to the other participants. I want to bring in Ashutosh now. Ashutosh, the fact is, let's look at it politically. At one end, politically questioning the government on certain issues, even be it the Rafales, the fighter jets, one would think is their job and they should do so. Politically speaking, Ashutosh, it was something that backfired during Balakot. Is this politically prudent this time? You're on mute, sir. You're on mute, sir. There is a problem. Okay, there's a problem with Ashutosh's audio. We're going to try and correct that. Let's bring in Rajat Sethi meanwhile. Rajat, let me flip this question over. What's so wrong? These questions were not raised at the time of Operation Sindoor. What's so wrong in raising these questions today? This is exactly what any responsible opposition should be doing.
Raise all kinds of stupid questions you want to raise. Who cares? See, Preeti ji, I'm not going to address to the Congress party. It seems like as if they're run by children who don't understand ABCD of military operations, but you come from a family of folks who have served in the Indian Defense Forces. Now, you tell me, number of planes being down, number of planes you've been hit, and this and that, all of these things, do they matter? In the Second World War, America's submarines to ships to warplanes, everything was lost, but who won the battle? That is what is important. What is being insinuated here, and this comes out of some kind of a sadistic pleasure of certain Congress leaders who in their in their limited understanding of how politics sort of works and how their limited understanding of how they can switch the narrative, they are latching on to these things, which in effect gets played on Pakistani television day and night. Now, I leave it. I'm nobody to give certificates on nationalisms to any individual. Forget about parties too. But I leave it to your audience. Look at whose statement is being carried out by Pakistani televisions. Right from Mr. Rahul Gandhi's words to Mr. Revanth Reddy's words, all of these things would be played out, making out that India got defeated in this battle. Now, by what kind of a stretch of imagination is this a matter of fact, you tell me? Is this the right question to ask? Of course it is not. But if they still want to go out and carry on with this question, so be it. Good for them. But let me tell you, there were better questions to have been asked. But Congress party is run by children who do not have a basic understanding of how to do politics also. They go out and accuse Jaishankarji of treason. Can you imagine how foolish you have to be in order to have that kind of a stretched argument in your political positions? And I leave it at that because I have zero hopes from Congress party, and nationalism and Congress party is oxymoronic according to me.
All right, okay. Ashutosh, I think we have him back. Ashutosh, like in politics, especially during conflict, optics is everything or it goes a long way? One can discuss, because right now I would think the government constantly maintains that this is an ongoing operation. Questions of how many planes down, questions of how many people we lost should be raised, but maybe at a later time, because like I said, optics is everything in war, and what you say could actually turn around and bite you later. So focus on the larger questions, which one should ask, many would suggest, which is the intervention of the United States of America and other questions, and leave the semantics of the forces for a while.
Preeti, first of all, I have very little opinion about those people who question why are you questioning the government. That means they have very low understanding about the constitution, very low understanding about democracy, and very low understanding about the rule of law in the country. The fact of the matter is that the asking question and questioning government is the fundamental of a democracy per se. Now this has become a fashionable these days. You can't question Modi government on national security, on terrorism, on Pakistan, on China, on Turkey. No, you can't. This is the narrative I did not hear when the Atal Bihari Vajpayee was the Prime Minister. I did not hear this narrative when the Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister. I did not hear this narrative when Narasimha Rao was the Prime Minister. This is something which is a unique innovation. And this unique innovation is for the simple reason because the country wants to be run on the basis of authoritarianism, not on the basis of democracy. See, a country should know and should ask questions. How many planes were down? Now the war is over. Now there is a peace time. And if anybody is asking question, if you brand him as a traitor, as a treason, then I think I will not have any opinion about such people and such person, to be very frank about it. The fact of the matter is, army had not disputed this fact when the question was asked. Army said, during combat, things happen. When the question was asked to the foreign secretary, he did not dispute it. So now if the leader of opposition or anybody is asking question, I also know how many Rafales were down. And did Rafale really down or not? Why the government cannot come out openly and say, no, not a single Rafale was down? Why you are not saying this? And if I'm asking a question, no, you are a traitor. As if these are the people, are the nationalists and the patriots. These are the people who were hiding when the India was fighting for the freedom struggle. They were nowhere to be seen.
Okay, Ashutosh, your time is up. Adil, I'll come to you. It's your turn, but I want to bring in Sanju and I'll come to you right after that. Because there's some amount of credence in what Ashutosh says. And Sanju Verma, I want to just take you through and we'll play those graphics there. Let's say the question that has been raised by Mr. Revant Reddy on how many fighter jets were down, the response to that is you're anti-national. The question it is asked that why are we being allowed or why are we allowing America and other countries to hyphenate India with Pakistan? The response to that is you're playing into Pakistan agenda. Why are the 4 terrorists who were the perpetrators of the terror attack in Pahalgam still running free? The response by the BJP to that is, once again, you're a mouthpiece of Pakistan. Where you talk about mediation by America and why should America be allowed to get away with it time in and time again, the response to that is that, you are playing into the larger plot of Pakistan. Or if questions are asked about the Rafale jets, again, the answer would that be that you don't respect the armed forces. There has to be some cohesive answers by the government.
Preeti, you've asked me a lengthy question. And
sure.
Please don't mind it. It did not seem you were asking me a question. Rather, you were making statements. You went on and on and on and on and on. Now, let me tell you, with no offense to you, and let me tell Ashutosh, whether you like it or not to Preeti, but I'm not giving a certificate to Ashutosh. I am. Why? Because this is the same Ashutosh who does not understand that there's something called a National Security Act, which was brought in by none other than Indira Gandhi. How much information is to be given during war times? How much information is to be kept discreet? What will be the timing of when the information will be shared? This is all the prerogative of the government. हमारी सरकार सत्ता में है, काम खोलकर सुन लो, हम बताएंगे, हम तय करेंगे कितना बताना है विपक्ष को, कब बताना है और किन शर्तों पर बताना है. Get that loud and clear. Now the second question, accountability, accountability, accountability. आशुतोष जी, पहले accountability का spelling सीख लीजिए. You do not know the difference between M-A-I-Z-E and M-A-Z-E. I saw your tweet and I responded to it. So you're the last person who should be giving bhashan on the difference between at the start and before the start of the operation. Like Rajat Sethi said, the Congress has become a bunch of kindergartners. And let me tell you, Rudrapur bombing, Congress was sleeping. Coimbatore bombing, Jaipur bombing, Meenambakkam blast, Chinnaswamy Stadium blast, German bakery blast, 26/11 terror attack, Samjhauta Express blast, Malegaon blast. Congress was caught snoozing at the wheel. But Ashutosh को कभी कांग्रेस की हिस्ट्री याद ही नहीं आएगी. You say that नेहरू पढ़ना चाहिए, नेहरू का इतिहास अपने दिमाग से जालों को निकालने के लिए. I tell you, read One Life is Not Enough by Natwar Singh, where he said Indira Gandhi was not a giant. She was a petty midget. She was a dwarf who actually destroyed everything that we won in 1971 at the negotiating table.
Your time is up. I want to cut across to Adil Singh Boparoy. Adil, the fact is there are certain things in India, especially if you hark back to our history, and history stands testimony to it, that become a part of, it's holy grail. Politically, if you touch it, you're going to burn your hands. It happened during Balakot, Adil. Constantly, the opposition, including the Congress, asked for proof. You know what the result of that was. Certain things should be avoided and certain things should be asked. It seems the Congress hasn't learned that lesson, many would suggest.
Preeti, look at the irony. The BJP spokespersons and the trolls are actually utilized to mislead domestic public opinion. But when it comes to catering to the world and making the world understand India's position, the BJP still has to rely upon the competent hands of the opposition. Point number one. Point number two, it doesn't matter what one odd commentator or one odd spokesperson of the BJP says on national television. When you talk about foreign policy, you have to cater to the world and how the world views India. Today, regardless of the voices on your program, the fact of the matter is that Mr. Trump, the President of the United States, has hyphenated India and Pakistan, whether the BJP and their acolytes like it or not. Number three, which is very critical, why these questions are peculiar and necessary in the present conspectus. You had the US President announcing the ceasefire before even the government of India could put out a statement. And followed with that was, he made multiple statements, and by factual records, at least 11 such statements, where he says that he used deal making and trade to exert pressure on India and Pakistan. So if I, as a citizen, want to ask my government, that is the President of the United States, who had prior knowledge about the ceasefire and who claims that he bullied us into a ceasefire, correct or not, and that you must refute it, is that anti-national? And finally, Preeti, let's leave politics aside, because when it comes to national security, Congress party has always been at the forefront. Mr. Modi can go to Bihar and make political statements on this unfortunate incident, but he has no time to address a joint session or a special session of parliament.
Okay, fair point. Now, that's a point that you've been making. I want to bring in Rajat Sethi and I'll go back to Ashutosh then. But Rajat, to pull you in, you know, the BJP might suggest that all the questions that the Congress or the opposition is asking are anti-national. You might suggest that these are childish questions and the Congress is free to ask them if they want to. But the fact is, where does Congress or the opposition ask these questions? They have to be now in public domain because the government, somewhere down the line, has put its foot down. They're refusing to have a special session at the back of this. You give them that space, they'll ask all these questions in Parliament.
You know, Preeti ji, at times what matters essentially is like not what you are speaking. What matters is what is getting heard. And I'm saying this ad nauseum. Congress party has a completely wrong understanding of how to portray questions. Did they ever, any of the leaders ever ask how many JC-10s, the Chinese planes which were given to Pakistan, were downed? Did they ever ask this question? You know, and then BJP is free to have a field run on this specific topic, that Congress party's statements are getting carried by the Pakistani televisions. Of course, you have to ask questions, but how do you portray those questions? And in fact, let me tell you, the entire virgin field that the Congress party had and the Congress leadership had, they could have utilized it for their advantage. They could have come up and stepped up the narrative on nationalism and climbed several ladders and said that we are going to defend India and India's position, globally speaking, much better than what BJP can do. And they should have gone out. Rahul Gandhi apparently has some fantastic connections globally. He is friends with Ilhan Umar, of all people. Can he not get Ilhan Umar on television and have a podcasty discussion with Ilhan Umar and prove our point that India has a right to respond? He could have shown BJP in lesser light that way. The problem is that Congress did not put in the right sequence. They did not go out and bring in some serious accolades to the table before questioning the government. Right now, you are seen as a bickering individual who keeps bickering and pointing out the negative questions. What have you added as a positive value add to the entire equation? It is none. The only thing that people will remember after this operation is that Congress asked how many Rafales were fallen. That's the only thing. And let me tell you, I thank the Congress leadership who are currently on tours outside, they have risen above the political ranks, and they are appreciating the repeal of Article 370, and they are appreciating India's conduct in Operation Sindoor, and these spokespersons will not follow that. But clearly, the truth has come out of the political leadership when they are outside India's political din, and they are talking truth.
Okay. I'll just give 2 more quick minutes to Ashutosh, and then we'll have one minute for everyone. But Ashutosh, the point that Rajat's making, okay, let's suggest that all of these questions are credible, that they need to be asked. But has the Congress at least got the tone, tenor and the language wrong again?
Preeti, first of all, I'm very amused that the BJP spokesperson have all the time in the world to read my tweets. I don't even bother to read even the tweet of the Prime Minister because I like to read newspapers, a serious business. See, what the people are going to remember? The people are going to remember that there was a BJP MLA who called Air Force Nalayak. The people are going to remember that the Colonel Sophia was called Atankvadiyon ki Behan. The people are going to remember that there was a Deputy Chief Minister who said, Sena to Pradhan Mantri ke natmastak hai. People are going to remember there was a BJP member of parliament who said कि ये तो वीरांगना का बोध ही इन महिलाओं के अंदर नहीं, इसलिए इनके पति मरे. These are the language used by BJP leaders. Call themselves Sanatani, Sanskari. Do they deserve to be called Hindu? Forget about being Indian. These are the statements, bizarre statement. BJP spokesperson will not utter a word, nor their supporters and not their bhakts. The Prime Minister should come out openly and should ask all 4 of them, shut up and get out of the party. No, that is not happening. Now let's come to the foreign policy. Today, Colombia has got the guts to say openly to go with the Pakistan. Where is our foreign policy? Russia, your best friend for decades, now is the best friend of China and doing a deal with the Pakistan. That's your foreign policy. And what else? Maldives is not with you, Bangladesh is not with you, Bhutan is not with you, and you are going all over the world. IMF doesn't listen to you. FATF doesn't listen to you. Everybody, and forget about it. The Donald Trump has given in writing to the court in an affidavit कि उन्होंने भारत पाकिस्तान के बीच में सीजफायर कराया ट्रेड करके. Now that's an official document. The Prime Minister is mum. Foreign Minister is keeping quiet, and their acolytes and their party is calling everybody terrorist or whatever they want to
All right, the
use.
time. Okay, I'm going to just give 1 minute to each of you, though I've run out of time, but let's try and attempt this. Sanju Verma, final comments. Time starts now, ma'am.
You know, I did not want to make this personal. If Ashutosh does not read, the Prime Minister's tweets, good luck to the Prime Minister. And Ashutosh, I read your tweets for entertainment. Because, after tweet पढ़ती हूँ, तो मुझे हंसी आती है. And let me say one thing. History will remember a paid panelist like Ashutosh who predicted Haryana BJP will lose, Maharashtra BJP will lose, Delhi BJP will lose. So Ashutosh Gupta, or whatever your name is, you have a nice big fat omelette on your face. And you people call the BJP trolls. How many times did you question Rahul Gandhi who said, Mandiron mein balatkar hote hain, Ashutosh? How many times did you question a man like K. Manjunath of the Congress who actually undermined the valor of our armed forces? How many times did you question Kanhaiya Kumar, the Congress leader, who said our army is a bunch of rapists? How many times did you question Ram Gopal Yadav, who called Vyomika Singh, Wing Commander Vyomika Singh, a chamar? So Ashutosh, यहाँ बैठकर नैतिकता का भाषण बीजेपी को मत दो. It is the people who have voted us to power and they believe us.
Okay, ma'am, your time is up. Your time is up. 1 minute to Adil Singh Boparai. Go.
Preeti, the problem is slightly different. The BJP doesn't owe its allegiance to India. The entire BJP ecosystem, and I underline the expression ecosystem, today functions to feed the ego of the supreme leader. Their entire focus is that the supreme leader should appear to be unimpeachable, untouchable, and larger than life. They're not bothered about anything else. That is their focus. Point number 1. Point number 2, today we have retaliated against Pakistan's mischief. Our brave hearts have given them a resounding answer, and we are proud of our armed forces. But today is also the time that the government cannot run away from accountability on its security and intelligence failure. Point number 1. Point number 2, if it is par for course for Mr. Modi to invoke the bravery of our armed forces for political gains.
Okay,
Why can't
sir,
we
your
not
time is
ask
up.
questions for his failure?
1 minute. Rajat Sethi, your time goes now, sir. Final comments.
Preeti ji, this point around Trump was brought in by Ashutosh ji and the Congress spokesperson also. And I'm hearing this ad nauseum for the last 10 days or so. It seems like Trump has emerged as the big daddy of Congress party and the ecosystem of Congress party. I mean, you believe in Trump, whose own countrymen don't believe and trust his own words. Trump is one person. If you have to go by his words, Kashmir was a 1,000-year problem. Do you trust that? Then if you have to trust Donald Trump during his election campaign also said one thing, that when he met Prime Minister Modi and he tried to intervene, how did Prime Minister Modi react? He reacted, and this is Trump's word, that I don't need anybody. So if you have to trust Trump, then trust him entirely. If you want to make him as a big daddy to do your politics domestically, good luck with you. Good luck to you. Carry on with this. You're not going to do any justice to your entire politics. But you are fit for that only. I don't expect anything better from the Congress party. They could have done far better in terms of setting a nationalistic undertone.
Ashutosh, final submission, sir. 1 minute, please go.
I'm very amused when I listen to the BJP spokesperson because they have all the times in the world which they should have used to expand their narrative to attack Ashutosh. Thank you so much for making me so popular. See, what is wrong here? The wrong is that the consecration of Ram Mandir has exposed the limits of Hindutva. Now the ceasefire has exposed BJP's nationalism, and that is why they are worried. And Mr. Donald Trump is not like in India. There in White House, everything is recorded. Whatever he has said in the court of law can be corroborated by the tapes available in White House. So whatever he's saying is now official, and this will go down in the history that Donald Trump mediated between India and Pakistan and forced India to accept ceasefire. That's an official document. BJP doesn't want to listen to this, want to attack me. If they attacking me makes them happy, good luck to them.
All right, sir, time's up. Well, that's that. We're going to leave it at that, and we're going to step into a quick break. Appreciate all four of you for joining us.